We want to, though, right now get more on the emotional and dramatic testimony from Oscar Pistorius on the stand in his own defense this morning. ABC's Matt Gutman has all the details.
I wake up every morning and you're the first people I think of, the first people I pray for. I can't imagine the pain and the sorrow and the emptiness that I've caused you and your family. I was simply trying to protect Reeva. I can promise that when she went to bed that night, she felt loved.
Taking the stand, a broken man by his own actions. His first whimpered words, an apology to the family of Reeva Steenkamp.
Hi, my name's Reeva, and I'm a
the reality star girlfriend he shot and killed through his bathroom door February last year. Watching from the bench, Steenkamp's mother, stone-faced. His voice quivering and so low that the judge asked him to speak up.
I don't like doing this to you, but I can hardly hear you.
I beg your pardon, my lady, I'll speak up.
Pistorius then described his fragile mental state.
I'm scared to sleep.
Saying he wakes up every night in a panic.
I can smell blood and I wake up to being terrified, just in a complete state of terror. To a point that I'd rather not sleep.
And the man who had purchased a small arsenal of guns before the shooting, now terrified of them.
Obviously, ever want to handle a firearm again, so I've got a security guard that stands outside of my front door at night.
Earlier, the defense laying out its case.
Sound, prosthetic marking, lighting, visibility, evidence relevant to vulnerability.
Suggesting it will rely heavily on the double amputee's disability and, crucially, on his sense of vulnerability that night. And Pistorius describing his birth defect.
I was born with missing fibula, which is one of the two bones between the knee and the ankle.
And a mother who always made him feel like he was no different than anyone else.
She treated me exactly the same as my brother and my sister.
Now, this testimony could last for days, and earlier today we watched the lead prosecutor, Jerry Nell, absolutely grill the defense's pathologist, actually belittling him on the stand. And we're told that Nell is going to be ferocious in his cross-examination of Pistorius. The question is, can Pistorius' story and his nerves hold up? Lara?
Yeah, that is the big question, and we want to get right to our chief legal affairs anchor, Dan Abrams, for more on this. It's a huge day, so emotional. What do you think of his decision, Pistorius's, to start right off by apologizing to the Steenkamp family?
If the judge is going to let him do it, why not do it? It's very emotional, it's very powerful, and you can make an argument that whether this was murder or an accident, that he's sorry about what happened. But
I'd like to believe he just felt like he needed to do that.
But look, the key to his testimony is going to be whether he can survive cross-examination and potential inconsistencies about what time did they go to bed and where was the gun and was there screaming. Those are going to be the key questions that he's going to have to address.
Right. It's one thing to be doing it with your defense team. It's quite another to be. And what do you make of all the talk right out of the gate about his disability?
Well, look, remember, that's part of the defense here. The defense wants to argue that a reasonable person in his position with his disabilities would have more fear than an ordinary person. And so they're saying that has to come into account in the legal standard as well. So not only is it emotional testimony, powerful testimony, talking about how he overcame all of this and how he still has issues, etc., but it's also related to the legal questions in the case.
It was really emotional to listen to. It sounds like he could barely get through it.
And remember that he's the one who asked not to be on camera, right? So the witnesses who request not to be on camera, we see audio only. Interesting that Pistorius made the decision and his team to say, we don't want him on camera, we want audio only.
Yeah, that isn't. I want to talk about the first witness. Traditionally, it should have been the defendant, but instead it was a pathologist.
I think it was a scheduling issue, but the pathologist is important here in trying to discount a lot of the testimony we've heard so far from the prosecution's team. And in essence, what this pathologist is trying to demonstrate is, don't believe all of what you heard from the prosecution's witnesses, suggesting that Pistorius' account doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then we'll get it all again. All right, Dan Abrams, thank you so much. More to come as we know.